All right, let's see if we can get live and go live. I am struggling on getting this thing to work. I swear I don't think they like me. I really don't. I've actually went live. If you've noticed, I've actually made this link about about 7 times. I've made this link and I've been trying to go live for about I think 13 minutes so far. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I'm gonna have to talk to someone and see if they can help me there. So I'm glad I finally could get onto the live. So literally, guys, I've been trying to get on since 2:24, and I had to keep resetting, keep resetting, keep resetting. It's not an internet thing. It's a YouTube thing, I guess. So if I get cut off, just want to preface it. If I get cut off, I will jump back on. But YouTube is being silly. You're exactly right, Adina and Gracie. So guys, thank you so very much for being here. We're gonna allow people to get on. There's two stories that that has not really made the news, and it should. We're going to discuss both of them. And then, of course, we'll do the question and answer, and we'll hit on a few more headlines and see what y'all think. So thank y'all so very much for being on. Again, thank y'all for supporting me yesterday with that video. It meant the world to me. We do have another video coming out 5:30 today, so please make sure you are ready because it is a good video too. But I want to talk about two main stories real quick. Hopefully, I won't get cut off before this takes place. And it deals with our military. First, let's talk about where our military is going for U.S. games and what they're trying to simulate. And then there's another story dealing with someone they just exposed in the military um, that is absolutely scary. So the first one is a new story called it's basically a U.S. game that they're working on, a war game that they're planning in the Philippines to fight against China. So they're trying to simulate if they have to go to war with China. Now I know we do these war games and these simulations all the time. The scary thing about this is we are bringing in way more military to do this drill. It says a total of 17,000 troops, along with 20 countries, are dubbed to do this drill to see how it would be if America and China had to go to war, specifically in the Philippines. Now, this comes right after. Now, the tariff talk, take the tariff talk out of this. This comes right after yesterday, China coming out and stating that the South China Sea, and there was a group of islands that they have not taken in yet. They said that they were going to dub them as Chinese land. Now, these were lands that the Philippines have basically stated that they were theirs. So this war game situation was already planned weeks ago, but then it just escalated to now the Philippines is having a major problem with China. Let's go through the story. It says there will be 9,000 American troops deployed to this area, along with 5,000 Filipino servicemen, to see how they would do a drill when it came to war with China. Now, I hope this does not take place, but I thought this was a very unique story to come out. It literally a day after South China Sea issue with China saying we are now over these islands that the Philippines thought they had. It says U.S. Marine Corps Forces Pacific Commander Lieutenant General James Glenn said this year's drills will showcase a full battle test, the purposeful integration for real world security situations that are now more relevant than ever. We will do live, virtual, and constructive training opportunities with the Philippines to see how we would combat a war with China. I thought that was just unbelievable that this announcement came out. Now, the other thing that was kind of unique too is Japan wanted to get in on this, of course, but that we brought this up and that we're doing this at the same time that we're dealing with a major flashpoint with the tariff talks. Here we are trying to negotiate, and now we're doing a war game situation on something that they just announced yesterday. I thought that was pretty good. That's pretty huge. This is a press release from the U.S. Navy explaining that the war games were proof that Washington would honor its defense when it comes to the Philippines and Japan. We just made this announcement along with the fact, again, that Manila came out yesterday threatening China because China said these islands belong to them. Huge, huge escalation, and probably not the best time, especially with us wanting to do a trade negotiation. It says a statement from the Filipino military likewise said the exercise would simulate a full scale battle scenario, and we need to be prepared. For the first time, we're taking this to a new level. Wow, huge, 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 huge statements. Now, that's one statement dealing with the military. I want to hit on two more. One, not so big, but a pretty good announcement, I thought. Each year, Panama charges the American Navy ships 2.5 to $3 million per move through the canal. It says, since we made this agreement and Marco Rubio and Trump pretty much took over parts of the canal, it's absolutely going to be free for the U.S. to go through. So I thought that was pretty good news there that we could go to and from for both sides of the seas in the hemisphere, and it won't cost us $2 to $3 million. That is just unbelievable that it's costing that much just to put our ships through the canal that we built. Now let's go to the main story I wanted to talk about when it comes to our military. There was a new exposed story, a bombshell from Mario Nafal. He leaked this or basically broke it on Twitter. It says Hamas operative, quote unquote, a Hamas operative exposed inside the U.S. Air Force. Listen to this now. Mohammed Hamid, 23, who profoundly and proudly said he had been a terrorist since he was a child. Now, listen to this. Is now facing a 10-year prison sentence after the feds caught him building a pipe bomb and plotting attack with two friends in Pittsburgh. Now, here's the key. Hamad, a dual citizen of the U.S. and Lebanon, lied his way into the Air Force. So we're talking about a guy who has got dual citizenship, who has been proclaiming to be a terrorist for 10 years, is serving in our U.S. Air Force. And we just caught him after 10 years, a decade of serving. Unbelievable. It said he was part of the Air Force, tried to get top secret security clearance, and spent his free time talking about how great Hamas and Hezbollah was. Unbelievable. Along with Taylor Lubid, 24, and Micaiah Collins, 22, he smeared uh, bad anti-propaganda against the West, against Israel, against all the people in those groups of individuals, saying death to us while serving in our military. He bragged all the time about being a white suburban person, which he was not, but living in white suburbia making explosive items for terrorists. Now, that is absolutely crazy that this guy had been serving in the military for 10 years. There was a report that said this actually was proven with DEI. DEI allowed this guy to get into the military and rank up, serve 10 years. He has been in our military for 10 years while stating he was a terrorist for another country and a dual citizen of Lebanon. Why do we have anybody serving in our military that is a dual citizen of any place other than America? Wouldn't you think that that would be smart to say, look, let's have America citizens as American troops? Don't you think that'd be the wisest, especially if they're serving for our country? So if this is one guy they busted and they said he may serve 10 years, I'm thinking 10 years, he should serve a lot longer than that. But if this is the case, how many of these situations are in our military all the way throughout? Now think about that. How many of these situations could possibly be in our military right now that we're seeing? We busted this guy after years upon years, him being in our Air Force, getting almost top secret security clearances as a dual citizen, and literally stating he is building a bomb against America. Now that is crazy to me. That's crazy that we're even having this conversation, that this is even happening with our military. Now, this comes at the same time that Pete Hegseth has said that we're trying to weed out a lot of these players, these bad players in our military. Now, here's the kicker. These judges that are being activist judges, and don't get me wrong, they busted two, which is great. Listen, the activist judges are trying to keep all the people that we are getting rid of in our military that have kind of some weird views, some quirky views, DI hires, also the ones that are not completely sold on Trump. They're wanting them to keep serving in the military. They're wanting to overstep the president of the United States and the Secretary of Defense and allow these people to still serve. So, how many of these situations are going on? We busted one guy who had been serving in the military who was absolutely, I mean, he was literally sold out to Hamas. Now, how much of that is left? That's what I would like to know. It's amazing to me that we're not doing better auditing of the people who are supposedly serving alongside of us. You wonder why we say we're infiltrated from within? That is our military. And you can't tell me that's not complete infiltration. Unbelievable. So that is the main stories when it comes to the military. I want to mention two other things that's a pretty big deal. Um, there was a new story that came out, and this was also talked about with Popular Science. Listen to this. This is pretty crazy too. It says 3D printed calamari now has more protein than real calamari. Now, we're not just talking about squid here. What they're trying to do is they're trying to understand how to 3D print meat and food like they've been doing with meat, with beef. They're trying to do this more and do so much more additives that are not natural for you to turn around and start digesting. They said this will be the way. This science will be the way that we can feed the world when it comes to not having crops. We're going to just basically microscopically genetically alter and 3D print food. That is creepy there. Listen to this. It says, after 2 years of tweaking, scientists in Singapore have perfected 3D printed vegan calamari that not only tastes like the real thing, but packs another 5% of protein. Come on, people. I mean, why wouldn't you want 3D printed meat? The recipe mixes, which is made up of some kind of bean protein, powdered some other algae, along with some kind of gum and canola oil. The basis is oil, vegetarian oil that is absolutely bad, seed oils that are bad for you. Then freezes it like rings. Then they turn around and they make it taste like seafood by frying it and spraying it with some kind of chemical. Next challenge, mass production. They want to take this to the next level to where we take 3D printed plant-based food and unleash it on the world. Doesn't that make you feel good that your meat and the food that you're buying in the store is gonna be 3D printed? And the thing is, they do not know how to actually permit and license this. Now, here's the thing. If the FDA or if the scientists get to a point, or excuse me, and the Senate and Congress, if they have enough lobbyists behind this, you will be having 3D printed meat easily on the shelf. Now, you think that's crazy. Think about it. If this is happening, what happened with milk years ago? Well, they allowed something to be called milk that's not milk, the soy, the almond, and so forth. It was all basically not milk. Okay. So beef, they tried to fight this to try to keep the 3D printed meat from be calling be listed as, beef or a beef substitute. They wanted to be called some kind of the red meat that's not real. Same thing with this. They have not got a permit yet to say that they can't call this calamari. So if they can print anything that's 3D printed, made up of all this gook mixed with canola oil to then make it look like any kind of food, put a lot of chemical on it to make it taste the same, then this artificial food may be the only thing that we have, especially if it comes down to the war on the farm, the war on the land, and the fact that, we're causing problems with the sun, which means the crops will be affected. Do you get what I'm saying? So how can we raise animals if all of a sudden it costs too much to raise animals, but then we're allowing them to make 3D printed meat and they're wanting to learn how to mass produce this. Now, so they've done it with milk, of course, we know that. They're working with red meat and beef right now, and now they're starting to do seafood. And it says, well, the way we're going to sell it is it's going to be cheaper, economic, and it's going to have more plant-based protein in it than even real calamari. So if they can program us to eat this, then what are we gonna do when all of a sudden we have to depend on the government or, grocery stores to feed us? That's why, again, guys, we tell you, if anything, please either learn how to become a farmer, homestead, grow a garden, grow some animals, or make sure you have a farmer friend that does and y'all can co-op together. Make sure that you work alongside a local butcher because it is key. I had a guy call me today and asked me, I had to go to church, and he said, "I'm gonna call you after church." I said, "Okay, no big deal." He said, "Look, you've encouraged me. We're going to start, processing on a hog." I said, "Great, that's awesome." He said, "I don't have a big place." I said, "That's no problem. We'll show you how to do it." So I kind of told him how to do it, and he said, "Now, when we do this, can I just how do I do the hams? How do I do the bacon?" So I sent him to my videos of how we do bacon, how we do ham without chemicals, without any garbage, without being shots, without anything in them. And he said, "You know what? This is so easy. Why have we not done it before?" And so therefore, guys, please do all you can to grow as much food as possible. Me and Misty just got done. We got done with church. I talked to that guy, and we actually went out and started planting some more tomatoes. Like, we have so much food, but we just want to keep on planting because you never know when all of a sudden we can't plant. And all of a sudden, 3D meat is literally right on our doorstep. The thing with blocking the sun that Bill's trying to do, that is going to cause a lot of problems for crops and animals. And I don't think people realize that. That's a big deal. All right, guys. So we've been on for about 15 minutes. I'm going to answer some questions. There's about 600 people on here. thank you for giving us a thumbs up. If you can, give us a thumbs up again while you're in here. It means the world to us. So thank you so much. Let me know. I want to try to hit some questions and answering. Again, we thank you for your support watching yesterday's video. It means the world to us. We have a great video coming out today. So please don't miss it. Let's see. Shoot me some questions, guys, and put them in capital letters so I can see them. Soylent Green, yes, I feel like we are living in Soylent Green and a lot of these other movies. It's amazing how these dystopian movies are coming true. It's unbelievable. Miller said salt and cold smoke. Yeah, we use salt and organic sugar, and we base it and dry it out really good when it comes to our bacons, and then we hang them in our smokehouse and do a cold smoke. You're exactly right. Let's see. Yeah, the stuff they're spraying, Casey Means and Callie Means came out with a study the other day that said 99% of all our food is sprayed, and we just don't realize it. And we say it's okay and safe because the government has given them a pass on certain labeling, and it's still bad. Kobe, how long will raw milk last? If it's really raw and the cows are eating good quality food or grains, I'd say 5 to 6 days is the best quality, 1 through 5 days. After that, it gets a little chalky. It doesn't actually ruin or sour like you would think of as grocery store milk, but it will start getting a little bit weird taste. So after about the fifth or sixth day, if we haven't drank it, which we rotate and we drink ours pretty much all the time, we're making cheese out of it, butter out of it, and sour cream or anything like that, and then the rest we would give to hogs if it goes past that time. Have you seen the report on Walmart's lower price as about 4 hours ago? Yes, I have. I've seen again, y'all laugh at me because I really don't try to promote Walmart at all. I want you to buy local. But I will say this, they have tried to do more rollbacks. I noticed this. I went to my personal Walmart just to see if it was true, and there was several things on what they call manager special rollback. And that doesn't mean it's always gonna be that cheap, but right now, they are about one of the only big box stores that's not went up on their price. So that's a pretty big deal. How did you find out about the info on the Hamas guy and the military? I'll show the link that if you go to the 2 military stories that I brought up were from Mario Nafal. He is an independent journalist on X. Go check him out. He has a report on it. The main source of that story is New York Post. New York Post. Go check it out. New York Post is actually who broke that story about that guy, Mohammed Hamid. Do you believe that the labels say organic truly is? Carolyn, to a point, yes and no. Here's what I'm saying. Do I believe that it is its best quality as it can be? No. Best quality is you go back from the farmer down the road that is truly organic, and he didn't have to call it organic. He's just growing his own food. I do believe that organic labeling is better. Now, and here's why I know. I tested this. If you go to Walmart and or Whole Foods or any place else and buy the regular apple, Costco, Sam's, it's shiny, it's waxy, and it just sits on your shelf. Now, you can buy an organic apple that's not nearly as shiny and put them side by side. Same way with bananas. You can do this with bananas too. That organic apple or that organic banana will not last as long as the other one. So, do I believe it's at the best quality? I think it's the best quality you're gonna buy in store. Do I believe it's the best quality? No, because if you could buy it locally or just literally go pick it outside, like my raspberries, strawberries, blueberries taste better than any raspberries, blueberries, and strawberries. However, if it's out of season and we have to buy, we're gonna buy non-GMO and organic, just because that would at least be a better quality than just regular sprayed GMO crop. So that's the thing I think of. Walmart's the only store that we can buy from. They shut everything. Let's say Walmart's the only store that we can buy from. They shut everything else in our area. That's the bad thing about big box stores like Walmart is they take all their competition out. I don't think it was ever set up that way, but that is what has happened in a lot of these places. It's happened here. We have 2 other grocery stores, both so small that no one hardly shops in them. How do you feel about herbal medicine versus big pharma? Great question, Jessica. If you've watched us for a while, we do a lot of herbal remedies. We do a lot with high concentration of index of liquor to make herbal remedies. We have elderberry syrup. We do ustina tinctures. We do oh gosh, we do so many tinctures. We do a allergy tincture. We do a medicinal tincture for cold and flu. We do an echinacea tincture. So we believe in herbal remedies because we believe that's natural and holistic. We use honey and liquor to do those things. I do believe that you should have some emergency medicine on hand when it comes to pharmacology because I believe God gave knowledge to certain people to make certain things. That's how we're innovative. We're literally sitting on a computer right now talking because someone was innovative. So, do I believe there's a place for medicines? Absolutely. but I do believe that we can abuse that. I think that's what we've done for sure. So I would challenge you, look at the herbal remedies, find out how to forage, find out how to make those benefits. Go to Survival Garden Seeds. They have herbal remedy packs that we help them design and make. And Jason, the owner, is a phenomenal guy. He has knowledge, and it shows you how to actually grow this herbal medicine garden. Huge, 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 huge. Let's see. I'm trying to catch all these questions, guys. Sorry. Colby, how long can you store home raised eggs before they spoil opposed to store bought? So here's a few ways. When you get them out of the coop, do not wash them, do not do anything with them, and don't put them in the fridge, and they will last for a few weeks on your counter. If you wash them, you can leave them on the counter for just about a week or so, but then you need to put them in the fridge. What we tend to do is we do stages. We have a washed amount that we put in the fridge. We have an amount that we keep on the shelf that's clean, and then we have some that we bring into the house that are still considered what we call dirty. Now, if you're going to do like us and do water glassing, you want to take an egg that has not been washed, but that is not just filthy, of course, and you need to get those ready to go with lime, pickling lime, and put them up for long-term storage. I have some eggs, if you notice in a lot of my videos, I have some eggs sitting behind me that's 2 to 3 to 4 years old that's raw that we still take out and eat. So shared your YouTube with a Colorado farmer who had never heard of you. Enjoy the content. Thank you so much, Tracy. When y'all share our content, it means the world to me. So thank you so very much for that. Let's see. Hit me with some more questions, guys. Let's see. Daniel. Yeah, Daniel. I mean, it's one of those cases where just the dealing with the rigmarole of YouTube. I'm thankful for YouTube because it allows me to have this platform. But I wish they would just, leave me alone. Just let us just do, recommendations, do go back to where we were a year or 2 ago and just keep pressing on and keep putting out truth. So, hopefully they'll do good and I can for the next few years, I can keep on jumping on it and keep on doing great. Have you ever heard of Dr. Shiva? I have, Colin. I have no problem with her way of permaculture and organic food. Again, we have different religious beliefs, but Dr. Shiva, I like what she's doing in India or the place that she's at. I think she's doing a lot of great things when it comes to holistic gardens, holistic growing, and herbal remedies. Very good. I think of people like Shiva. I think of people like Joel Salton. I think of people like Greg Judy. I think of the guy that went over permaculture, the father of permaculture, all those guys, those were great people who just said, "Hey, just try doing normal stuff again. Stop, just try to go back to what we did for the last 10 years, 15 years, 100 years, 2,000 years. This is how we did it." So, um, let's see. Posted on your videos last night twice, and they deleted it. I don't doubt that. People always say, "Do I delete comments?" I really don't. I don't delete any comments. So if they're not on there, I don't know, it's not me. Trust me, guys. Kobe, do you still believe Mustang Energy Corp is a good investment? I think that again, I'm not a broker, so please, anytime I say something, personally, what I've done, I like Mustang Energy and I like some of these other companies because they're started like Giant Mining Corp's another one, gold mining, because gold, silver, copper has become a big player, and copper, Trump is trying to find copper. Well, some of these big energy corps are looking for copper as well. Mining is going to be a great investment, I think, to hedge the market, but also in the future because of what Trump is trying to do with energy independence in America. So, do I think it's good? Yes. Do I think that they're going to utilize Canada and Mexico and some of the other places? Absolutely. I think South America and North America, of course, Canada included, are going to be a great mining source. And I think that's why Trump is pushing so hard on Canada and Mexico to make better trade deals because he sees the future when it comes to mining. Rabbits or chickens, which one would be easier to grow for food? Chickens is what everybody's used to, but I did a video on this. Rabbits is actually the easiest thing, especially live in town. They're not loud. They still make cold manure, which you can use. Chickens, you have to have hot manure, so you have to kind of compost it. I use them both. I think they're a great dual purpose system. What I do is I put rabbits on top, and before I built this new structure that y'all saw in the videos on Life of Kobe Mack, I actually had the chickens underneath. So as their manure dropped, the chickens would rebed it and compost it. And so I had this like kicker fertilizer to put in there. Rabbits are extremely, extremely good, and they can. If you buy meat rabbits, they grow quick, they eat less, they also give you manure, and then again they produce babies quick, so you can turn them around pretty good. But if you're going to do chickens, that's great too. I have no problems. I have them both and enjoy them both. They have great benefits to both. Not to grow your own food, but to feed them. Yes, you could do either or. Is gold, still a good investment as of today? Gold is at its highest point ever. It will go down as the market goes back up. I think gold's always an investment. Do I believe that you may still ebb and flow and lose? Yes, and the reason I say that, gold needs to be backed by the system. The system is not gonna back gold again. So anytime gold does good, it's because the market is not doing good. So right now, gold has held its own, but as you see the trade change and the market get better, gold will start going down again. But I do still believe it's a good investment. I actually bought some gold the other day. I've been buying a lot of gold mining stocks along with physical gold, so that way I can hedge as the market changes. Gold is supposed to hit 4,000. Actually, Goldman Sachs and Citi, and there's one more big bank. They all estimate that gold could see 45 to 5. So especially if we don't get some deals going for sure. Ray Miller commodities. Yes, I believe if you're investing in commodities, I think that's a good thing, and that includes food. Absolutely. Have you seen anything on the Fort Knox Gold? Hey, what's so funny is this is how our government works, and politicians, all of them. Has anybody heard anything about the gold? Has anyone heard about the Epstein files? Some of these things that we talk about, we're hoping to hear, but I think our news and our mindset, sadly, so sad, we live in a social media world to where we forget something so quick, and then all of a sudden we're like, "What about the other things that we're supposed to do?" You forgot about the things that we talked about auditing Fort Knox. That's a pretty big deal, and nobody's talked about it anymore, and I don't believe we're gonna hear it. The video I have coming today is a little bit about Epstein. Please go check it out. It's absolutely a great video, but we actually hit on that, just like what you said. Let's see. What do you think about raising turkeys? I find the feed meat ratio turkeys are better. Now, here's what I think about turkeys. Turkeys are kind of like goats on a farm. They do find ways to die. So they're sometimes they can be hard to keep alive. If you're buying a breasted versus a heritage, yes, they'll go quicker. They eat a lot of food. They need a heavier protein. So where a chicken or rabbit can eat a lower protein food to grow, turkeys need a higher protein to grow. I like turkeys, but turkeys are dumb. So like for instance, a chicken and a rooster can kind of fight back a little bit and get in trees. Turkeys struggle on getting away from things. So if you're raising turkeys, you may want to have some goose with them. You may want to raise them with some roosters. You may want to raise them with some other animal. Teach a Great Pyrenees to be a herd animal because I do believe you do better with that. So turkeys are expensive too. We've raised turkeys a lot. We're actually going to raise some more this year. We like raising them around this time and raise them for Thanksgiving. But we've done that a few years. Let's see. Survival Garden Seeds has an excellent selection. I agree, Jessica, especially when you talk about someone who doesn't know seeds. They teach you how to raise the seeds. They teach you everything it is, and they have kits built for different zones, built for different herbal remedies, built for homesteads, built for gardens, built for seed vaults. It's just a great purchase. We have a link to them below that saves you about $10. So check it out. It's really good. Any updates on the off-grid site? Yes, we've worked on it a little bit. We're actually going to do that series with we're gonna tie it into my son's home. So, if we talk about where we're gonna build, we're gonna show some of the off-grid things because if you remember what I told you about learning how to do solar, learning how to do rainwater catchment, we take those same things that we learned from the off-grid property and put it into Ben's home so we can teach as we're building his home. It's gonna be a great series. So go check that out as we start that process. We're gonna start doing the pad on that after we finish the greenhouse. The greenhouse has got we're hoping the next 2 weeks the greenhouse will be finished, at least the main structure anyway, and then we'll have to put some stuff down and kinda handle that. You're the go-to gal on farming. Thanks, Ray. I mean, all we've done is we just try to learn. Like, for instance, me and Misty a while ago were planting listen, we were planting Echinacea. We raised our own coneflowers to build. At the same time, we were raising basil marigold to companion plant with our tomatoes, and we were putting tomatoes bedded in compost made here with the chickens and rabbits. You see how that works? Nothing was taken off farm. It was a way that we could do it all holistically and together. Kobe, your thoughts on treasury bills? You know, I think treasury bills and the treasury, like thinking about treasury bonds the same way. I think anytime you think you're investing in the government, I think that people like that. I personally just say, I don't want to touch it. And for me personally, if I'm going to do anything, if I'm worried about hedging against stocks, because that's kind of what treasury bonds and treasury bills do, I would just say, look, I'm going to buy mutual funds and have some money in money market, but I'm going to use gold and gold stocks to kind of do the same thing or keep some in cash or buy commodities. That's just me. Whatever you feel on that. That's just my opinion. Again, I'm not a broker. I have no knowledge. I'm just a guy that sits on a farm in Mississippi. Let's see. Thanks so much, Ruth Furlow. It's one of those things to if we can all learn together, I think we grow together. I've learned so much from people like Joel Salatin and Jeff Lawton that does permaculture. That's who I couldn't think of a while ago. And to listen to them talk and just like Greg Judy with cows and sheep. I've got a herd of cattle and sheep that so far have not had any treatment in the last 5 years. So we've taken 10 years to get to that point. But now that we have these cattle and these sheep, they're prestigious. We love them. Same with our hog. None of them are treated. We have no treatment going to any of them. That's a game changer when you get to that point. Tips on improving incubation rates on eggs: 50% on heritage turkeys, 70% on ducks, 80% on 80 to 90% on chickens. I like to improve the turkey hatch. Turkeys are the hardest thing to hatch, especially heritage breed. 50%, honestly, is probably not bad on turkeys. Just being completely honest, I wish it could be better. You may want to change out your main, male roost. I mean, your male turkey, of course. So if you're looking for a better, better crop, you may want to look at a better male. That's what I learned to do is take that, just switch them out. So, um, one thing I've realized with male animals, if it's dealing with goose or dealing with a rooster or dealing with turkeys, is sometimes they just cause more problems than they're worth. So then we may change them out and see if it makes a difference. But 50% is not bad because heritage turkeys are the hardest thing to keep and actually sit and incubate on their own eggs. Or excuse me, we used to try to hatch them in incubators like we did chickens. We've gotten to where now I'd rather just try to let the turkeys do it themselves because it seems like they have a better hatch rate than me incubating them. Thank you, Marion, so very much. Danny, I don't know. I hope so. Me and Misty enjoy doing what we do. Yes, I talked about this book last live. We actually got hit up to do a cooking recipe book and a homesteading book. We didn't think we were too knowledgeable, and we didn't think we were popular enough to write a book and it make a difference. But they were going to front run the book and pay for the book, and we were just going to put the knowledge into it. So we just kind of said, hey, we were too busy. We were building at that time. We were building a new barn, the hay barn, and we were building the chicken barn. And we just said, hey, we may not want to tackle that yet. So I'm not saying we won't do that, but we just said, hey, at that time it was just not for us. I know y'all talked about the commercials on live stream. Hey, we're not doing the commercials. The commercials are just our friends here at YouTube. So sorry about that. If you get hit with a commercial, I've actually got hit with a commercial on my own live stream. Isn't that funny? If you're right on canning and farming, I will buy it. Thank you so very much, Ray. All right, guys. I got another minute on here. Is there any other questions y'all have? Do you think cash is still king? I absolutely do, Tom. I think cash is still king. I'm scared to hear Republicans, including Trump, and Democrats, both pushing towards digital style currencies and crypto. Trump is doing his Trump meme coin again. I think meme coins are dangerous. I think they're just a Ponzi scheme, personally. I think crypto can be that same way. So I hate to see people pushing towards that because I think ultimately, if cash is not king, that means digital forms of money will be king, and that's scary. And then that means you better prep all you can with food and commodities because that's what's going to matter when you're in a bartering economy. Let's see. Thank you so much, Danny. Our goal is to make sure men could be men again, and what I mean by that is not just first of all, I want to be the best husband I can be. I want the best father I can be. Most of all, I want to be the best Christ-like person I can be. And then from there, I say, okay, I look at things in three S's. This is what I'll end with. Here's the thing. I want to be sustainable. So if I want to be sustainable, why am I wanting to be sustainable? Well, first it comes from stewardship. Stewardship. If I'm supposed to be the man that I'm supposed to be, that biblically is sound and doing the things that I'm supposed to do to take care of my family, then I'm going to be a good steward with what I've been getting my family, my children, the lands, the monies, everything. So budgeting, everything. So our goal is to be a good steward. When we become a good steward, we become more sustainable. When we become more sustainable, and as hard as it is to work, then all of a sudden we have satisfaction. That's the way we look at the three S's. Stewardship, sustainability brings satisfaction. It's hard work, but we absolutely love it. I don't believe states will ever do away with property taxes. I wish they would because I get infuriated by the amount of property tax that I pay. Are you keeping bees on your farm? Yes, I keep right now I have about 5 hives. I've been down to 2 and been up to 25. Bees, actually, I'm checking bees tomorrow. The next video I do with Life with Kobe Mack will have some bee coverage in it. I love bees. I think they're the one of the most vital. Listen to me. They're one of the most vital livestock that a farm can have, because without the bee, without the pollinator, you do not have food. Without the food and the grasses and the fruits that are growing, you have no beef, you have no chicken, you have no pork. So bees are key. Hey Mac, are you a pre or post trio? Oh, you're getting in a deep one there. I'm pre-trio. Let's see. I love bees. I think bees is the most underrated insect, livestock, mammal, animal, whatever you want to call it. I say livestock because they're so important to a farm. I'm trying to catch all you do on the videos. Thank you, Sue, very much. Can we buy anything from you? Again, I just you being on our lives and watching our videos mean everything to me. Now, my wife sells a lot of soap, so if you want to reach out to her, she sells holistic lye soap, no chemicals other than literally essential oil, pure organic essential oils bought from bulk apothecary, along with all the natural remedies to make soap. She doesn't make coloring soap. She don't do any of that. It's straight lye soap like the olden days, and it's phenomenal. Let's see. Husband loves beekeeping, yes. Beekeeping's it's a game changer. All right, is everybody that has money in the bank going to lose it? I believe that we need to quit trusting the FDIC that to say our money's safe. When banks could start doing fractional lending and now do 1% lending, that's a problem, and I believe that we're gonna see major, major issues with banks. A bank bailout or bank bail-in does not mean that you will mostly have your money if you hold, a few thousand or even up to 150,000 like they say. That doesn't mean you're gonna get your money back anytime soon. The first people bailed out won't be us. It will be the government and big players. So be careful. Just don't put all your eggs in one basket. Keep money in the bank. I have no problem with it, but don't put all your money in that bank. Let's see. What's the cost to get set up with bees? Usually you can buy what they call a nuke, N-U-C. Look it up. Nuke. That means a 5-frame beginner hive. It has a active queen and 5 frames. Usually you can purchase that anywhere from $125 to $200. You can buy your first kit, your first bee house, maybe for about $150, $200. You need a bee suit. And you really need to buy 2 nukes because to me, you need 2 hives anytime you start. I wouldn't start with just 1. You can catch bees. You can make what they call hive traps, and you could try to catch bees. I used to catch bees all the time, wild bees, or if someone says they got a hive, a swarm, basically, what they call a swarm. That means the queen left. She got light enough to fly because remember, queen can't fly without being light enough. So she got light enough to fly, and then you can go get that queen and that swarm and catch a swarm, what they call. But I'd say $500 to $700 you can start bees. They're the quickest thing you can return money on because honey you can sell at a good price, a very good price, especially in your local area if you're not doing anything to it other than just raw catching of the honey. Secondly, you can sell nukes yourself, so you can make your own queens with queen cells. You can learn how to do all that. You can do your own splits and sell off. You can sell the wax. We sell the wax. We make stuff out of it like sunscreens and body butters. We can make out of our wax, or we can sell it and make candles out of it. We can sell the wax. We sold some wax that somebody was making turkey calls with, and they'd use it to do to put on their calls instead of using lacquer as a natural source. You can sell the propolis, which is out of the bees. That's what they make to actually glue the hive down. That actually is very anti-carcinogenic, a great source. Very, very good. Are bees okay or in danger if you have only 1 acre? Not at all. They're not in danger at all. Bees are not typically dangerous unless you're going and picking on them on their hive or they're without a queen. They can get a little rough. But if they got a good laying queen, no worries whatsoever. All right, guys, I think that's it. Doug and Stacy do have some great bee videos, by the way. I've met Doug and Stacy several times. I've spent some time with Doug. Great people, and they have some a great channel when it comes to bees. Does Misty teach soap? Yes, check this channel out. I've got a 5-year-old video of Misty making soap, and it's still the same recipe that she uses today. All right, guys, thank you so very much for being here. We appreciate all of you. Thank you for your thumbs up. Thank you for being here. We have a video. Please do not miss out on today's video. Again, like I told you yesterday, our goal is to do lives, do shorts, and put out the video still. We don't want to take away from our content. So we want to do the lives because we enjoy talking to you. Talk about these military stories, a big deal. But we have a huge, huge story coming up. in the video coming up in about 2 hours. So check that out. Don't miss it. Guys, thank you so much for watching. We appreciate you, and we're gonna keep on pressing on. God bless.